The Sectaurs hit shelves in 1985, and while incredibly innovative, the toys couldn't survive Coleco's financial troubles. But the amazing designs and sculpts were enough to make bootleggers pay attention and gear up production of their own insect-themed toys. Our first bootleg line is a classic Sun Gold knockoff, Lord of Insects. They've given us a nice backstory similar to the original Sectaurs plot. The figures are standard Sun Gold material, with the only real improvement being jointed legs and some nice paint and accessory upgrades. Professor Oreo is a repaint of the classic Galaxy Triton head. They've extended all of the eye and eyebrow paint to make the human figures feel more alien. Each toy ships with a glow-in-the-dark accessory, in this case, a rhino beetle. Moving on, we have Vidar, described as Oreo's handsome assistant. This is a Galaxy Ra head repainted with similar color to the Sectaurs Dargan character. These are some of Sun Gold's cleanest toys with almost no flash or flaws. Vidar ships with a bright blue stag beetle. Next, we have General Agus, the precursor of the Turley-Gang Aquarius figure based on an earlier Sun Gold Thor figure. This comes with a fairly boring scorpion accessory, not as colorful as the other accessories in this line. Last but not least, we have Orc and Spider, another Turley-Gang precursor based on a Galaxy Devil figure. The colorful two-tone body paint really makes these figures pop, far less mundane with the added splash of color. Orc ships with a spider accessory, also subtly painted. While a somewhat lazy bootleg, Sun Gold knew what they were doing, using paint, glow accessories, and flashy card artwork to spin their old Masters of the Universe-style Galaxy products into something new, mimicking features of toys of the time. Our next bootleg line, Insect Man, was distributed globally with numerous variations. The core of this figure is based on the Sectaurs Waspax character, taking cues directly from its original styling. Unlike the hollow Sectaurs figures produced by Coleco, the Insect Men parts are made of solid, semi-rigid plastic. The advantage in producing solid limbs is that there are fewer molds, fewer machines, less assembly. The only drawback is that it requires more material. Since it takes quite a bit of plastic to produce solid parts, the sculptor ended up removing some length from all of the limbs, which is why this bootleg is slightly dwarfed. Our first Insect Man is Waspax. The head sculpt for this character is the only one clearly based on the original Sectaurs line, with the other figures vaguely mimicking a similar style. While there are no obvious good and bad guys within the series, we do have boot color variation, black boots with yellow trunks or yellow boots with silver trunks, which could indicate good and bad variations of these figures. Our second figure is the odd man out, not appearing in the team roundup, but instead he's obscured by the card bubble. I'm not sure what insect this is, perhaps a mosquito. These figures also have some outlandish color variations, possibly from an obscure run with the same molds. Overall, not much information on this color variation. Our next bootleg is a Mantis knockoff. If you haven't noticed by now, this line fully embraces facial hair. The original Sectaurs had quite a bit, and then this line also has quite a bit. In addition to the boot paint variations mentioned earlier, we also have core body color variations of olive green, brown green, and a reddish purple. The fourth figure in this line sports a mustache and is possibly Pinsor inspired. The helmet shape for this guy is really bizarre, maybe based on a bullhead beetle. Not the most obvious iconic choice for an insect line. Note the eye coloration is also random for these guys, sometimes black, orange, or red. Next we have another miscellaneous design based on a fly. I found a marginally larger version of the same figure in Croatia. All areas of the figure were reworked, but to no great difference. The figure's slightly taller, and the details are a little faded out. The only big difference here is just the material, which is slightly softer and bluer. Our final Insect Man appears to be based on a praying mantis, but since we already had a mantis-based bootleg, I'll just call this guy Zach. If you look closely at the abs and other sculpted areas of this figure, they were deepened severely to save material. The figures with spaces above the belt are usually the ones with the more severe material-saving undercuts. The Insect Man line was eventually paired with a third-generation Defender of Planets torso taken from a Spanish wrestling bootleg to create this amazingly absurd Ninja Insects knockoff. While the characters do have a separate hip and upper leg joints, they're very shoddily constructed. All the joints are nearly immobile. The Insect Ninjas come with thin rubber shells, belts, and assorted silver weaponry. It's just really a wonderfully odd Ninja Turtle knockoff. The standard Insect Man articulation is very simple, ball and socket construction. The shoulder width varies due to some of the figures having larger ball and sockets than the others. The hip articulation is sticky on all figures as mentioned before, and the hip styling varies slightly depending on which release of the toy you have. There is no knee articulation, and there are different Made in China markings. The accessory plastic varies from release to release, sometimes translucent metallic, slightly rough opaque metallic, and a really rough gray. The shield forms were taken directly from Combo Fighters and Galaxy Warriors. The Combo Fighter accessories are the most unique forms in this line, with the other accessories being 3rd generation Galaxy Warrior fare. While not terribly elaborate, the odd diverse head sculpts, paint variations, grotesque card artwork, and body mold variations make this a fun and challenging line to complete. Our final bootleg line, Guardian or Zoser, was manufactured by Sonai Plastics and first released in Italy in 1986. Like the other bootlegs in this video, a single Sectaurs figure was used as inspiration, in this case Dargon. All of the armor details, patented articulation and anatomy were boldly mimicked and slightly upscaled. Sonai was clearly pressured to revamp the resemblance at some point, but didn't change any of the patented aspects of the toy. Due to Coleco's financial troubles, Sonai's infringement was probably lowest priority for them, and they happily settled for minimal adjustments. The second release of this toy was repainted with a black mask and silver eyes, and stripped of its antenna. Eventually the head was completely resculpted to cover up the weird forehead dent. The Guardian Patrol vehicle is the most impressive of the 3 automated Guardian toys in the series. The box features tons of beautiful photography illustrating what the toy does, while simultaneously flaunting the other toys in the series. With every reissue of this vehicle, you'll find new photography and new inserts. The Guardian Patrol box also has some fancy die-cut windows and an elaborate styrofoam storage tray, which makes these things really easy to ship. When taken out of the box, the upscaled figure and large mechanical Centaur are mind-blowingly elaborate. The Centaur requires 4 C-cell batteries for its upper drive mechanism and lower light feature. The Centaur Angel is coated with embellishments. The chrome plastic is beautiful when found in good condition, but it's usually oxidized. If the wings seem familiar here, they were taken directly from She-Ra's Swift Wind Horse. The decorative stickers are really impressively unconventional, with eyeball nipples, a large mouth consuming the stomach of the Centaur, foil military markings, pinwheel and Greco-Roman styling to the saddle and helmet, a bold-winged skull across the chest. We also have these strange Star Wars-looking guns mounted to the back of the vehicle. As fancy as this toy is on the outside, it's also elaborate on the inside. Unfortunately, the fancy internal clockwork mechanism is very hard to find in working condition. The tension-fitted plastic gears are almost always broken just due to heat and age, and the timed lift gears almost never work. These spreading gears allow the upper torso to spin 360 degrees. I spent most of my time attempting to capture this mechanism working perfectly. Since these guys are so tough to get running, I may post a repair tutorial. Believe it or not, there's a 4th generation of the Guardian Patrol Centaur with a much less troublesome mechanism. The exterior has new stickers, more gaudy decorations, and comes with an awful small Soldier's Archer bootleg. The toy moves at a slower pace, but is much more reliable and easier to repair. Notice they didn't bother to remove the eye sticker guides from the original chest. A sound chip, speaker, and button were added to the head, loaded with strange galloping Horus explosion and military command sounds. The simplified walking mechanism does away with the 360 torso spin, eliminating the lift gears and opting for a cam to rock the upper torso back and forth, and a solid drive to the lower legs. Getting back to the patrol figures, the articulation is identical to Coleco's patents, the only construction difference being screws instead of plastic pins, rigid head plastic, and the addition of a wrist twist. If they'd only added an elbow joint, this really would have been one of the better articulated figures of its time. Overall, a very reliable, well-articulated figure. The scoped gun, sword, and sheath accessories within this line were shot in white, yellow, blue, and chromed silver with varying sticker applications. Our second and last Guardian is mostly white with a new head sculpt, strange androgynous Greco-Roman styling with Egyptian face paint. Doesn't really appear to be based on anything. Just like the Guardian Patrol Centaur, the Scorpion Rider box is coated with great photography. It also has die-cut windows and a foam storage sleeve. The Scorpion vehicle is very cleanly sculpted with lots of beautiful mechanical detailing, chrome paint job, and ribbed light lenses. The wings are the same as the patrol vehicle, lifted straight from She-Ra. Just tons and tons of decoration on this stuff. The white scorpion head and body are really hastily airbrushed to add some interest to the quieter areas of the toy. It works fairly well, but it's probably the weakest aspect of this toy. The odd mechanical eagle bullhead handlebar thing seems to mimic Northwest native art, and for some reason the tiny jaw is spring-loaded. Overall, really strange mashup of components. Unlike the Patrol Centaur, the Guardian Rider toy is much more reliable. It's a simple bump and go with an offset mechanism that makes the legs move sequentially and the pinchers scissor and the tail strike. The odd popping mechanical noise that this toy makes is very intense, like being stuck inside of a typing class from hell or a telegraph room. Overall, just a really elaborate, beautiful Sectaurs knockoff loaded with odd goodness. The Guardian Zoser figures are really just so fascinating. It's a shame that the Sectaurs of Symbion didn't have a longer shelf life to inspire more amazingly weird stuff like this. There is a warrior figure in this line that wasn't covered within this video. I can assure you it will get its own screen time. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more Black Tub Bootlegs.